Why is Bollywood even a part of geopolitics? Definitely a question that must have come to your mind. But believe it or not, amongst the various tools of political influences, from warnings to bombings, bold visits to missile strike, the role of Bollywood as a soft power cannot be undermined. Cinema produces social, cultural, and regional differences and constructs the geopolitical meanings of we and they, or us and others. In today's episode, we talk about Bollywood's stand in international market, its significance, limitations, and why soft power is taking a life of its own. Welcome to Speaking Territory, a podcast run by School of International Relations and Strategic Studies, University of Mumbai. I'm Simran Upadhyay, and in today's episode, we unravel Bollywood. But before understanding Bollywood, let's try to understand soft power and what does it signify. Around the year 1990, India began to economically and culturally flourish. Having economic reforms, India began the privatization of public enterprises. Even though more than half of India's population is still threatened by poverty and unemployment, India has been at the forefront of many positive changes. Its bilateral ties are expanding, it has the second largest military force, steady economic growth, nuclear capacity, and as many speak of, as a potential superpower or the next world leader. But the main question here is what makes a country a world leader? A country so desirable that it attracts other country towards it. And this is where soft power comes in. India is the biggest producer of cinema, producing an average of 1,000 movies per year. Bollywood films like Kuch Kuch Hota had made it to UK. Celebrities like Aishwarya Rai, Irfan Khan, Priyanka Chopra, and Shah Rukh Khan are recognizable faces around the globe. Lead singer Lata Mangeshkar got all the respect and adulation that the world leaders get today. Did you know Tulsi Zindabad became a cult in Afghanistan with the serial Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi causing suspension of weddings as people clustered around their television ignoring the bride and the groom. It was once famously said, never call an Afghan at 8:30. Even robbery went up at 8:30 pm. And I quote a router article. Robbers in Mazari Sharif stripped a vehicle of its wheels and mirrors at 8:30 pm and wrote on the car, Tulsi Zindabad, in an allusion to the show's protagonist. Can you imagine that? So then it all comes down to one question. Why hasn't Bollywood yet been able to harness itself as a major source of soft power for India? So where is exactly Bollywood lagging behind? Let me answer this by posing a question to you. Who would win a fight? A Captain America or a Ravan? Usually, this decade old trend of comparison stokes creativity and collaborative part of people's brain. It results in disrupted afternoon and strained friendship. But here, the answer is quite simple. We are talking about a superhero who saves the world from all kind of bullies and aliens, establishing himself as the world's savior, quote unquote, in case you missed it. Against a superhero who dances, romances, and creates an invisible virtual character who is only interested in saving his family from the danger he invented at the first place? See, I'm not against dancing or romancing, but what's the purpose of a superhero without any influence? Bollywood representation of Indian cinema has merely gotten a tag of entertainers. People relate Bollywood with exaggerating acting and colorful dancing skills. In Hollywood, when an alien invades the earth, it is the American superheroes, the Avengers who saves the world. In India, the superhero instead falls in love with the supervillain, making it more confusing. From defeating Hitler armies to stopping the Japanese army, America is in tune with the geopolitics, establishing itself as the mighty force or the good guys of the world. Unfortunately, we can't even use the excuse of language barrier anymore. In Korea, after the success of Parasite and Oscars, the Korean series Squid Games became the most popular show in Netflix. It gathered discussions about morality and capitalism, which spurred interest in people learning the Korean language. A recent report suggests that in Great Britain, 76% more people than usual signed up to learn Korean. In the US, the number increased by 40%. Korean culture is making a connection globally. The seven boy band member BTS was invited at the United Nations, delivering one of the most influential speech. In India, we still struggle to give singers their undue credits. Actors judge a singing reality show. They even sing in movies, perform at concerts. Uh, with autotune, of course, resulting with singers not getting as much respect or success in Bollywood. Even British has a cult of Harry Potter. Not to forget the ever famous James Bond escorting Queen Elizabeth for the 2012 Summer Olympics, and the great Christopher Nolan, influencing a large scale soft power. In the end, it's just the content that matters. Bollywood with its content? Well, we just heard about it. Now comes the second important segment, geography. As a student of international relations, we often hear geography being an important recurring source of study. Now tell me, how many times in your life have you heard this? I want to study in Ivy League. Go on a romantic date in Paris, marry in London, shop in Spain, honeymoon in Switzerland. And these are the same people who haven't even traveled the country at first hand. This is where the concept of film tourism comes in. It is known to boost up local economy by attracting people to their country. Blockbuster hits like The Godfather and The Lord of the Rings brought massive tourist influx to the places they were filmed. In 1996, a historical action film, Braveheart, led to a 300% increase in visitors to Scotland. The ever famous Harry Potter film franchise caused tourism to increase at least 50% to every UK location. Whereas Bollywood is still obsessed with foreign destination. A film with an Indian plot travels to London for a special fight sequence, only to land itself in the Swiss Alps to romance. Again, not against romancing or dancing, but the only request is to not blur the narrative. It literally makes people believe that to develop, we need to ape to the Western culture. Even the government seemed to be uninterested in allowing India's narrative to progress. See, money, as much as passion or creativity, motivates and further drives any cinematic industry. Hollywood gets tax shelter, cash rebates, and grants for shoot at home. The United Kingdom provides rebates of 30 to 40%, Australia 16%, China 40%. In India, the incentives are much lower. The space agency of NASA lent its space suits for the 1998 film Armageddon and also permitted the location and symbol of NASA for shoot. Imagine, it must be a dream come true for so many people. In fact, Tom Cruise plots to shoot a movie in space, collaborating with Elon Musk's SpaceX. However, in India, filmmakers had to recreate an ISRO set for the movie Mission Mangal. Forget that, it is even difficult to get permission to shoot at historical places. After all, we can't forget the embarrassing send off from Oscar nominations. Most importantly, how are we telling India's story throughout the world? Indian cinema is divided into Tollywood, Gollywood, Lollywood, Pollywood, Ollywood, Mollywood, Collywood, and Sandalwood. One industry pretends not to see the success of other industry. At difficult times when industry should have come together, language takes a new wave of conflict. There has been major improvements recently. Movies like Urta Punjab Razi, Bhag Milka Singh, Article 44 is focusing on narratives. Few selected movies like Chapak, Tanhaji, Toiletic, Prem Katha, Kashmir Files have gone tax-free. Digital revolution has finally led Bollywood to focus on rural India. An all-women starrer movie is also on books. It's time to become one Indian cinema, to collaborate and to globalize. Well, we can only hope for the best. This was my end content to Bollywood as a soft power. But there's boundless contents of geopolitics in the world. We come every Monday and Friday to share such factual stories. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and keep on listening to Speaking Territory.